Ustrasana is camel pose, and I'm going to use it as an illustration of a lot of our other back bends, or spinal extension. So I'm going to come up and stand on my knees, and if you think about wheels moving in your body, this is your pelvic girdle. Imagine that this wheel is spinning backwards like that, okay? And then there's another wheel in your chest and it's spinning in that same direction. So that's the key in back bends, is you want to feel those two wheels. What they do, the release valve in all back bends is compressing the low back and blooping out the belly. So we want to bring length to the low back, and we want to engage the core in the front so that we can support that low back, so that we don't exploit the low back. And the same thing at the neck, okay? Those are two areas we tend to exploit. Those are our two major release valves. So you can see that if you spin that wheel, just imagine yourself doing that now. Take your tailbone towards your pubic bone, lift your pubic bone to your navel, take your navel to your low back. You can feel that it automatically engages your core and lengthens your low back. And then do the same thing up here in your chest. You feel that the bottom of the shoulder blades are scooping up to your heart, the collarbones drift over the shoulders and back down to the tips of the shoulder blades. So feeling that loop. Now, you can see on me that this could compress the low back here, this upper body loop. So feel a little bit like there's a counter loop that's spinning, lengthening the low back, the counter loop to those other two. This is in your manual, so there's pictures if it's not making that much sense, but these wheels get a little bit of counterbalance by gently moving that way. It's sort of a calibration. All right, so from there, we've got our wheels spinning. We're gonna lift our sternum and begin to take the gaze a little bit up. I like to take the hands behind my head so that I can make sure that I'm not exploiting my cervical curve, and just let the head go back gently, keeping the gaze up. There's always a little bit of containment, pulling the chin in. All right, if you want, you can begin to go deeper, lifting the sternum up more, but keep the wheels spinning. Feel a little bit like the bottom of your hips, the bottom of your gluteals are meeting the top of your hamstrings. There's some action, muscular action going on here. If it works for you, you can take one hand down. I like to do one at a time, like this, or you can take both hands down. The point is, if you find yourself squishing, exploiting the low back, don't go down so far. I like to keep the hands on the hips and just go to the point where you feel the gift of this pose, the benefit is strengthening the back body and stretching the front body, okay? So if you overdo the back body, that's when you can end up with problems. To come out of all back bends, do so on an exhale, come up, and with all back bends, give yourself a twist. So this camel pose is just a great pose to teach. If you're doing things like low lunge, you can do it in that shape and just be here. That's a really nice shape. You'll find it in pigeon pose and in the warrior. So this shape of camel is really, I think, pretty essential. I'm going to go up into warrior one quickly. So the left foot is pointed forward. The right foot is slightly pointing out, just like in pyramid pose. The feet, the more issues you might have, issues can come from ankles, knees, sacrum, low back, shoulders. This is a difficult pose. So we really want to make sure that we are looking at those places in our body. If you have pain, widen your stance, and like in pyramid, shorten your stance. Okay? We want to feel the knee moving, the front knee moving right to the middle of that front foot. If you feel anything at all in the low back, lean forward a little bit. So you're going to look sort of like this, but find that shape of camel. So you might end up looking like this, okay? We want to keep those wheels spinning. We want to feel the lift in the belly, also a lift in the arches, a lift in the pelvic floor. All those, they're called bandhas, all those lifts throughout the body, okay? Some people will find that they can bring a lot more lift into it and come into almost like almost like a drop back bend. But I'm keeping the stability of my legs. My left knee is moving to, the left inner knee is moving to the left outer knee, keeping the right leg firm. This is in slight internal rotation. This is a closed hip posture. So leaning forward, lifting your heel. All these are ways to make this pose feel a little bit more blissful.